Why China and Taiwan became so different. Here's the simple truth that explains everything. China and Taiwan started from the same place, yet one became a world of control and the other became a world of choice. That's the whole story. But why did the same roots grow into two completely different trees? That's what we're unpacking today. Beginning. Let's rewind, because the conclusion is already clear. Mainland China built stability by limiting freedom. Taiwan built stability by expanding it. Same language, same culture, same ancient traditions, yet two paths that now feel like opposite universes. How did that happen? Let's take the camera and rotate it just slightly. The angle changes everything. A story of two families. Imagine two families living across the street from each other. Same grandparents, same memories, same recipes, same holidays. But one family decides, we need order, strict rules, no surprises. That's the only way to stay strong. The other family says, we need flexibility, debate, choice. That's the only way to stay strong. Nevertheless, those two visions create households that feel nothing alike. That's China and Taiwan. But there's a therefore moment coming, because the world sees the results, but rarely the steps that led to them. The shock that started the split.
After World War II, both places were struggling. Both lacked stability. Both faced internal chaos. Yet one turning point shaped their futures differently. Mainland China had a revolution. Taiwan had a relocation. On the mainland, the Communist Party established a rigid, top-down system. In Taiwan, the nationalist government escaped, regrouped, and eventually opened a path toward democracy. Same starting point, but opposite reactions to crisis. However, consequently, the psychological foundations were set. Mainland China? We survived chaos before. Chaos cannot happen again. Taiwan? We survived losing everything. Reinvention is possible. That one contrast explains more than you think. Everyday life became the real teacher. Let me talk to you like a friend here. If you grew up in America, think about the little freedoms you take for granted. Choosing your news, voting for your leaders, criticizing the government, starting a business, deciding your own future. In Taiwan, people wake up with those freedoms every day. They shop, they argue, they read different viewpoints, they laugh at politicians, they elect new leaders, and life keeps moving. Meanwhile, in mainland China, life teaches a different lesson. Stability matters more than debate. Unity matters more than disagreement. The group matters more than the individual. Both sides think they're protecting their future, yet the difference sits quietly in the background of daily life. Freedom versus stability, the core conflict. This is the heart of the story, and we need to treat it with honesty. Mainland China chose stability first. Decisions are top-down. Information is filtered. Dissent is controlled. The goal is national unity. Taiwan chose freedom first. Decisions flow bottom-up. Information is open. Debate is constant. The goal is individual rights. Two strategies, both aiming to protect their people from the chaos of the past. But, therefore, their futures grew further apart every year. The economic divergence. Let's shift the lens again. When China opened its economy in the late 1970s, the country grew at lightning speed. Factories exploded. Cities rose. Millions were lifted from poverty. Taiwan, meanwhile, was already industrializing. But it did so under a different model. Small businesses, free markets, local entrepreneurship. As a result, China built massive scale. Taiwan built flexible innovation. Yet, on the other hand, the political systems behind them shaped how that prosperity was used. In Taiwan, wealth empowered independence of thought. In China, wealth strengthened centralized control. Same economic engine, two completely different steering wheels.
The cultural split we don't talk about enough. Here's something subtle and important. People in Taiwan grew up hearing, "Speak your mind, your voice matters." People in mainland China grew up hearing, "Be careful, words have consequences." Those aren't just phrases, they become the rhythm of society.
They shape how children talk in school, how adults navigate the workplace, how families discuss problems at dinner. This is the sort of thing you only see when you look closely, like noticing how two siblings raised in different households become totally different adults. Two different definitions of safety. This part fascinates American viewers the most. In mainland China, safety often means predictable order, controlled information, unity of direction, avoiding instability. In Taiwan, safety means choosing leaders, debating ideas, trusting transparency, protecting rights. Both sides want safety, but they built two different definitions of it. And that difference affects everything today, from how people vote, to how they read news, to how they react to global events.
The people are not the same as the government. I want to slow down here and say something with heart. Most people in mainland China and Taiwan want the same things: a good job, a peaceful life, dignity, opportunity, a future for their children. They're not that different. They've just lived under different systems that shaped their habits, fears, dreams, and expectations. If you took kids from both sides and put them in the same classroom, they'd probably become friends in a week. It's the systems, not the people, that created the divide. So why does it matter to Americans? Because this isn't just a regional story. It's a lesson about how societies evolve. Americans understand debates about freedom versus security, about individual rights versus national unity, about local control versus centralized power. The China-Taiwan story is a mirror. It reflects the choices we ourselves confront as a nation. It asks a simple question: what kind of society do we want to become? And that's why this story resonates far beyond Asia. Let's circle back to the first sentence. China and Taiwan started from the same place, yet one became a world of control and the other became a world of choice. Two systems, two philosophies, two definitions of safety, two pathways shaped by history, crisis, economics, and culture. Not good versus evil, not right versus wrong, just two different answers to the same fear. How do we prevent chaos from happening again? And that's the story most people never hear. Same roots, different futures. That's why China and Taiwan became two different worlds.